Welcome back to Talking Dragon Age, the show where I talk about Dragon Age. Today, we take a look at the enigmatic red Jenny called Sera. Now, Sera was never quite an agreeable girl. Her tongue tells tales of rebellion. But she was so fast and quick with her bow, no one quite knew where she came from, and I'm done, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's start this off with a pretty popular theory I've seen around the internet, and that is that Sera is in fact the elven goddess Andruil, like how Flemeth was actually Mythal. The root of this theory seems to be the similarity between Sera's tarot card and Andruil's mosaic. Then we add the fact that a lot of her dialogue suggests that she may be more than what she seems. Now, personally, I don't believe that she's Andruil. Back when I first heard it, I thought it was possible. It did make sense. But then Trespasser came out, and I had to reevaluate. However, while she may not be Andruil, Sera is definitely special. Let's first take a look at some of the similarities between her and the ancient elves. The most prominent one to me is this scene here.
Sure, sometimes I plonk one, but you know what it takes to be a noble? Everyone says, he's a noble. That's all a title is.
Call me crazy, but this sounds exactly like what the Evanuris are. Now, this does not necessarily mean anything. It could just be a parallel between Elvenon and modern Thedas, so let's not jump to conclusions on that. But let's take a look at some other stuff. Something else that really stands out to me is her relationship with dragons. First of all, after slaying enough of them, her codex updates to say this. Now let's add what she says after slaying a dragon. I'm alive. Really. Alive. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I think it means that something about slaying a dragon speaks to her. Maybe the same way it speaks to the Iron Bull, but for a different reason. I'm not going to talk about him and the Qunari yet, that's going to get its own video. But about Sera, the ancient elves were definitely involved with dragons. In what capacity, we're still not sure, but this makes me think that whatever force is inside Sera reacts whenever she slays a dragon. Reacts in a way that makes her feel truly alive. Again, this does not necessarily mean anything, but I think it's noteworthy and lends small credence to the theory. So let's move on to some of the game's dialogue now.
What color is the sky, Sera?
Hang on.
It is an earnest question. What color is the sky when you look at it?
You know, blue mostly. Except for the breachy bits.
And when you looked past the breach? As perhaps you were drawn to do.
Greenish? And clear a long ways and kind of felt like falling. Ugh, makes my head hurt. You make my head hurt.
We are not so far apart, you and I.
We will be.
She sees the strings that pull me, eyes like raisins in a stale cookie. Shite, he's wrong. Dead-eyed crazy, shite. I called him a him. Is he alive? Is everything alive? Shite, I hate raisins. Sera, no matter how you turn your head, your ears point to the fade. Do you do it on purpose?
There's something going on here. Something more than just elfiness. Why can she see the strings that pull Cole? Why does Solas think she was drawn to look past the breach? Let's keep going.
Have we been here? I mean, right here, doing exactly this. It feels weird.
Yes, but not how you mean. In the soft, thin places, spirits push with memories that didn't happen, or did, or might.
Weird.
Sera, what are you feeling?
Oh, here we go. It's nothing. It just feels like I've seen this. Exactly this. It happens.
Not to everyone.
It's not an elf thing. Inquisitor's not shaking. I suppose now you'll switch to how I'm the same but different.
You are different. You are the furthest from what you were meant to be.
Well, I've definitely heard piss like this before.
Clearly, it's not just an elf thing. It's something else, something more. Sera is always aloof about her past. She gets nervous when you talk about it. And I think that's because whatever it is that's inside her scares her. Whatever it is, she's afraid of it. Maybe that's why she's so set against elfy stuff, because that makes her think about it, and she's afraid of it. But that's speculation. In any event, whatever it is seems to enable her to feel more, particularly with the Fade. Like how Cole explained what she was feeling, or how she sees the strings that pull him, or how she's got so much natural talent with the bow, or how she can do things like this.
Sera, how did you get an entire beehive into Colin's training dummy?
I don't know, can't remember. What? Things can go sideways if you think too hard.
But it's a beehive, full of bees. Most people would pay attention.
That's why most people get stung.
So what is going on here? What is it that makes her special? Well, I think the answer to that lies inside a small, painted box. Aw, snap, it just got real. Alright, let's break it down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a small side quest in Dragon Age Origins to deliver a small painted box to the Friends of Red Jenny in Denerim. Sera mentions this, actually.
That was ages ago. 10 years. I was playing with small painted boxes and burying stuff I stole.
Now, the description for the quest doesn't give us a lot of information, nor does the description for the box itself. But what we do know about it is that it was found in First Enchanter Irving's office. That's important. Just for it being in the circle, it's one thing, but why did the First Enchanter himself have it? I doubt he knew what it was, but I'm sure he knew it was special in some way. But then, why did the friends want it? What interest could they have had in it? I don't have a good answer. At a wild guess, I'd say it has something to do with the original Red Jenny. But again, that is a wild guess. There's so much here we don't know. In fact, it's entirely possible the box has nothing to do with anything. It's possible Sera isn't actually special at all. But there's clearly enough here to arouse suspicion. So the question is, what was in that box? Well, I think this is where you guys come in. If you guys have any guesses as to what was in the box, please leave a comment and let us know. I do have a theory of my own, though, and that is... Okay, how do I put this? Alright, so something I skipped earlier is how Sera's greatest fear is the nothing. We see that literally spelled out for us in the Fade, where she also says that instead of spiders, she sees blobs of nothingness. She mentions things like that a few other places as well, but these are the most prominent. So, we can attribute this to the Void. This is actually part of the Andruil theory, since she has a lot to do with the Void. However, so did the Forgotten Ones. So, if the Evanuris are trapped in the Black City, as I talk about here, then it seems more likely that whatever Sera encountered when she opened that box was more closely related to the Forgotten Ones. Something that comes to mind here is the Well of Sorrows. Whoever drank from it gained power, but was also bound to Mythal. So, what if the box was something similar, dedicated to one of the Forgotten Ones? It could explain the force inside Sera, and why she's so afraid of the nothing. This is even in line with the conversation from earlier about what makes a noble. The Forgotten Ones seem to share this view of the Evanuris. However, this is a stretch. It requires me to be right about a lot of other things, and it is by no means the only possible explanation, so please share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to read about them. Do you think the box really mattered? If so, what was in it? Do you think Sera is even special at all, or am I just reading too much into this? I'm really excited to hear what you guys think. So I think that about wraps this up, so let's recap. Sera was never quite the quietest girl. Her attacks are loud and they're joyful. But she knew the way... Okay, I'm done, I'm sorry. Okay, but there's one more thing I want to add.
I do not understand you, Sera. You have no end goal for your organization.
Nobles get rattled and people get payback. I play in the middle.
Why not go all the way? You see injustice, and you have organized a group to fight it. Don't you want to replace it with something better?
What, just lop off the top? What's that do except make a new top to frig it all up?
Forgive me. You are right. You are fine as you are.
You hurt my head sometimes, Solas.
Yes. I have been known to do that.
I like this banter a lot, mostly because of how it illustrates the characters. It's inspiring. Okay, alright, so yeah, that is it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, Kala Nadas.